Hello everyone, welcome to your weekly Fanteam video from myself and Mr. Fanteam himself, Mr. Fanteam himself, Josh Wooldridge. Good start, Josh. How you doing?
Yeah, let's cut that. Let's start again. How you doing, mate?
We
You all
can't
right?
cut it. We can't cut it. It's live. Thanks everyone for watching in the chat. I know there's a really good game on. It's currently 3-2 to Ghana against South Korea. Maybe just mute it or something and have us on in the background. We're going to talk about the Monster Tournament. We're going to do Tuesday and Wednesday's games. How you finding the World Cup, Josh? Still enjoying it?
Yeah, absolutely great. As we were talking about just now, like the 10 o'clock games, it's the last one today, but it's been an absolute blessing just waking up and having football on tap, literally. And there's no prizes for guessing which direction my screen's in if anyone sees me going like that.
Whoop.
Just for a second. Like when the eighth goal goes in a minute. Like that, yeah.
It's finally happened, isn't it? Finally a goal fest. It's been a bit slow, been lots of 0-0s and things, and now it's all kicking off.
Yeah, it's crunch time for a lot of these teams, as I said to you just now as well. Like, if a lot of the teams, like Serbia and Cameroon, both had to win today, so that's why there was a crazy sort of goal fest this morning. And then both of these teams need a win as well, so that's why we're seeing like both giving absolutely everything to get this result. Otherwise, they might face elimination. So yeah.
Yep, we'll keep you updated as we go. If you're here and watching, you are probably here for some tips for the Monster. Just so you know, the Monster starts tomorrow at 3 o'clock. There's a £5,000 minimum prize pool, and essentially what you're doing is you're picking a team over 2 days, which you think is going to score the most points. So essentially a free hit team for 2 days. We're going to talk about the teams that are involved in that in a second. Spoiler, England is one of them. It's not really a spoiler, I'm sure everyone knows that already. We're going to talk about our best England picks for that game. And yeah, you can try and win some money and some prizes along that. It is 18 plus. It is gambleaware.co.uk for all the facts about gambling. Obviously, don't bet any money that you can't afford to lose. It's a bit of fun. Josh and I play this quite regularly. How's your main fan team doing, Josh? Are you anywhere near the money? You in the money?
Yeah, I'm going to get them. I think I've got a good feeling about today. I think I'm 92nd with 4 to play, and most of the people above are all out or got 1 to play. So I think I'm about 20 points off top. So I think I can get close after today, hopefully.
Oh my God!
We've got Richarlison, Rodriguez, and then 2 Nunes and Valverde. So I'm hoping they can do a few bits between them. So yeah.
Is that in the moldy entry in the 25 bullets?
Yeah, of course. I'm only talking about my best team. All the others are absolute crap. But yeah, I've got one good, like shining light. So far.
Come on, I think we've got to pay a bit of a mention to your triple Iranian defence shout out, who did manage to get the clean sheet against Wales, and I got a very cocky message from you on WhatsApp.
It was just you were very dismissive on the video, and I've had a lot of other messages attacking me on this one. Like even someone yesterday said, "Well, you had them for when they conceded 6 in the first game as well, so it's all crap anyway." So I'm like,
no, doesn't matter. The clean sheet came in. You were right.
And the safety net feature gave me the guy who actually scored as well in the last minute, which is absolutely like. Yeah. I'll take the jam on my toast for that one for sure. Yeah.
So I just had a dog.
That was
a dog wanting to club on my lap. He only really does this for our fancy videos. I don't know why. He seems to.
When we bring up Iran, literally, he jumps up every time. He wants to tell us that it's just a terrible pick and I got lucky, basically, and that's okay. Like I'll take it from both of you.
He's absolutely fuming, I think is what's happening. Right, let's talk about some of the Monster picks. So we're going to go straight into this. This is where you head on Fanteam. Just click on this one. It's the hot tournament. It's £2 to join. There's a link in the description below. You can see here are all the prices. Look at that. The Netherlands players are all the top players. Gakpo's having a strong start, isn't he?
Yeah, he's my favourite player from them. I've been loving to watch him, actually. He came off a bit early in the last game, but he's their star player at the moment, even with Depay in the team, I think. So, yeah, really excited to watch him play again, especially in this kind of fixture.
Yep. They're playing Qatar, who are already eliminated, being one of the poorest teams in the tournament so far. That's why they've been priced as the highest. So it will set you back 14.9 million for Depay. He's the most expensive player in the game. Gakpo, just under that, 14.7. Bergwijn, 14.4. Klaassen, 14.3. I mean, they're really expecting the Netherlands to go hard on this. Do you reckon we need to go for a Netherlands player, given it's probably the easiest fixture in the whole tournament?
Yeah, at least one, I think. Obviously, when you're building these things, you've got two options. You either have some expensive guys and some cheap guys, or you just go completely like middle build, I suppose, with all mid-price players. And I think this time I definitely like paying up in some spots and then getting some bargains at the bottom. So,
Yep.
yeah, Netherlands will be top of my mind, I think.
Okay, let's go through some of the other games. Ecuador, Senegal. Ecuador have been absolutely brilliant. Well, I don't think we've really talked too much about Enner Valencia, who arguably one of the players of the tournament so far. I don't think too many people would have seen that come in, but I'm happy. I did the FPL pod earlier talking about some of the players playing for Premier League teams in the World Cup. 3 players for Brighton in the Ecuador team. Just saying.
Yeah, I know. You boys have been. I've seen some posts from Brighton as well on the official page, just with like Ecuador flags everywhere.
Yeah.
So I know which team they're supporting at the World Cup. So.
Yeah, they're kind of on my second team in this, along with Canada as well. I was really disappointed to see them go out because they were really good against Belgium. They're really good for about 30-35 minutes against Croatia, but then kind of faded away. What do you reckon about Ecuador, Senegal? I mean, Senegal 3 goals scored, but 3 goals conceded. Ecuador looking quite solid in defence and good up front. You backing Ecuador to win that one?
Yeah, I like this game. I do think it's going to be a really cagey affair. It's a winner goes through basically kind of game, which is like they're always the fun ones because if the team who's just slightly behind in the table goes ahead, then the other team has to throw everything, and then it's always just flipping on its head where one of them is just trying to win at all times basically. So I can see it being tight though, really. Ecuador are really good defensively or have looked that way in the first 2 games. Yeah, and playing Qatar first as well. I was just going to come back to Enner Valencia. That was great for his confidence as well to get like the brace in the first game against the really weak team, let's be honest. And then he's gone on to score against Netherlands in the last game as well. So what a tournament he could have if they get through to the next round.
I'll back him to get another one, I think, in this game as well. Iran, USA, you mentioned winner goes through. I think that's probably the case for this game as well. Should be really interesting. Everyone kind of written off Iran after England, did a job on them. But, roared back without that win against Wales. Big win against Wales. US looked all right against England. Really good defensively. Not a huge amount going forward. Pulisic looks half decent. Tough one to call that, I think.
Yeah, I think you sort of pick a side in this one and you maybe pick either one from each team or just one from one of the teams and you just back that as your little hope that you pick the goal scorer, basically. I think that's a good way to approach this kind of game where like both teams are quite mid-priced. Iran were amazing against Wales. They absolutely battered them. And then USA were brilliant against England. So they've both had like their best performance most recently. So yeah, I think this is a classic like coin flip, I think, this one. But yeah, I've got a little idea for this one. I'll come back to it in a minute.
Okay. And Wales, England. Wales need to win 4-0 to have any chance of progressing. Probably not going to happen. Probably going to see Wales bowing out. What do you reckon that means for England? Do you reckon we rotate, bring in a few new names? I think Henderson's been confirmed to be starting, so might be an indication there's going to be a couple of changes.
I think there'll be 3 changes, maybe 2 or 3 changes. I couldn't exactly pinpoint where they're going to be, other than Henderson in for Bellingham, I think. But really interesting. I think Harry Kane will play. Other than that, we've got a lot of depth in the wide areas, especially. So I could see either of those getting a rest. Probably not for Phil Foden though, because he hates him for some reason.
The more he talks him up, the more you feel like he's never going to play him.
Yeah, it's like Pep, isn't it? All over again. Like whenever Pep says someone's good, they're never going to play again, basically. So yeah, it's I think we'll see about 3 changes. I think Rice will probably play, given that Bellingham's getting rested, and then Kane will play. But other than that, just take your pick where it could be, really.
Yep. Then moving on to Wednesday, Australia, Denmark. Big win for Australia. I've got to be honest, I wasn't expecting too much from them this tournament. They'll be happy with the position they're in, but they know a kind of result against Denmark sees them go through. Denmark have been disappointing, haven't they? 1 point for them, is it? And obviously the loss against France. They'll be hopeful they can beat Australia, given Australia, on paper, Denmark are a stronger side, but still not the best position for them to be in.
Yeah, they're out if they don't win. They wouldn't have wanted this pressure going into the last game. I think, like, if they'd have beaten Tunisia, for example, which they would have been expected to, I think they'd have just probably needed a draw in this one to get through. It's a lot of pressure on them, and often teams crumble under this pressure in the World Cup, actually. So, Australia have been a team who I thought were going to be very open in this World Cup, and they were in the end in the France game, but obviously they kept a clean sheet last game. So, yeah, really interesting. I do think Denmark will have enough in this one, though, personally.
Yep, and the other game in that group is Tunisia versus France. France looking really, really strong. Early scare against Australia in the first game, but ever since then, just look like they're going to blow teams away. Giroud's looking good. Mbappe, Griezmann's having a good tournament, as he so often does. Yeah, you've got to think again they're going to have more than enough for Tunisia. So I think a couple of French players are probably going to be entering into our thinking.
Yeah, I'd be a bit wary on Giroud because I think that could be a rotation spot, a prime rotation spot. I think, given that they must be already through, they've won both games, right? So, yeah, I think I'd be wanting to use the safety net in this spot, like having the guys below just to make sure if they don't play, you get someone else. And Mbappe's got Giroud below him, for example. So I think one of them will play. So I think it seems a pretty perfect spot, I think.
The safety net's so good in this because in some of the other fantasy games, you're going to be sweating on Mbappe playing or Giroud, like you mentioned, and not really have any options when they come in. But at least with this, you're going to get a player, even if you pick the most expensive ones. You're going to get someone coming in for such a good fixture.
Exactly, and it's the same with Bellingham. We talk about tomorrow. A lot of people have picked Bellingham on the season long. I know me and you said we didn't like him, and then he scored immediately as soon as he said that. But again, those people are now going to be landing on Henderson as their actual player in the tournament. Now, it's better than having no one, but that's obviously quite a big downgrade, I would say, on that spot. So yeah, something to think about, but definitely like the safety net's a blessing, an absolute blessing for sure.
Poland, Argentina, that should be a really good game. Poland off the mark, Lewandowski with his first World Cup goal. Argentina, I didn't really enjoy that game, Argentina versus Mexico. Got to be honest, found it pretty dull. 2 moments of individual quality, but generally speaking, a bit rubbish. I think Argentina are going to need to improve, and Poland will be a test for them because they're looking pretty good.
This is the spot where I think they've got the pricing most wrong this week, and this is the one I really want to attack. Poland are like the cheapest team on the slate, and I just think that's a mistake. I think that's a mistake based on like Argentina's like like past credentials or whatever, or like what we thought going into the tournament, because they haven't shown that whatsoever so far. So I think Poland are my favourite team on the slate. Dare I say, for like getting a bit of value. So yeah. Yep.
And then finally, it's Saudi Arabia versus Mexico. Is it a bit of a dead rubber, this one, isn't it? Can Mexico go through with a big win? Yeah, they could.
Oh, yeah, they can both definitely go through. So,
of course, because Saudi Arabia beat Argentina, didn't they? Yeah,
No,
it's not a dead rubber at all. It's actually a big game. Yeah, okay.
Similar to Iran, USA. I think the winner pretty much goes through.
Wow.
Like, it's like really big game. Mexico need to win by a couple, I think, to match Poland's result. But other than that, I think it's... as long as Argentina beat Poland and Mexico beat Saudi Arabia, I think Mexico are through if they match the goal difference. So, And then Saudi Arabia, any win automatically through because they obviously will be on 6 points then, which is just unfathomable. But
my apologies. I forgot. I just completely forgot about match day 1. I was like, match day 2. Mexico lost. Saudi Arabia lost. Yeah, they're out. Yeah.
Do
Poland lost a few. And then no, of course they had great results in the first match.
Do you remember when we took the mick out of Saudi Arabia's price to win the group, and if they win, they might actually win the group. So it's
I know we should have a bit of money on it. Can do a Leicester win the whole tournament. It's typical, isn't it? They beat Argentina and then go down 2-0 to Poland. It'd be interesting to know where they kind of sit now, whether they are going to be that kind of whipping boy that a lot of people predicted, and Mexico can just get a kind of comfortable win, or whether they can cause another surprise. But I mean, if they can qualify from this group, that is an incredible achievement for them.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see, like, the way Mexico have played in their first 2 games, I can't see them battering anybody, to be honest. Like, they've been very defensively set up, but they do need to go for this one. They need to win by more than 2 to, like, match Poland's result kind of thing from the Saudi Arabia game last time. So, yeah, they do need to try and win at least 2-0. So they might play a bit more attacking, I think, hopefully.
Yep. All right, let's pick a team. Let's pick a team then. I mean, what's your, when you look at these fixtures? I mean, you mentioned Poland as being the cheaper player. Should we start with some of them?
Yeah, I mean, just look at Lewandowski's price. It's like
6. I mean, he's got to be in, hasn't he?
I think he'll be very, very popular, but that doesn't stop me wanting to play him. I think I want to just match everyone on that like kind of thing because it's 6 points. It's absurd. I mean, Gakpo's 15 million almost, and Lewandowski's 6. they're the same price on the season-long game, or I think Lewandowski's a bit more actually. So yeah, doesn't add up for me. I want Lewandowski.
Yeah, I mean Zielinski as well, 6.2, scored in the last game. In defence, if you're not backing the Argentina, strikers or midfield, and again they didn't look that kind of the synchronisation between the midfield and attack wasn't that great. But you can have Matty Cash at 5-1, Glick at 5, really cheap. Again.
Yeah, Szczesny again with his heroics, of course, as well. I think
5.7.
I think if you pick 3 Poland, I think you can have whatever else you want in your team. I'm not exaggerating. I think you can pick anyone else. I'm leaning more towards 1 or 2, and then just having a bit of a more balanced team in the rest of it. But Lewandowski and Zielinski were top of my shopping list for sure.
Should we stick Zielinski in as well, or should we just stick with Lewandowski?
I think both makes a really nice team. I'm trying to be very conscious we don't land on an exact duplicate of the draft I sent you earlier. But yeah, let's have some more. Let's have some of your input. I think. What do you think about
That's never wise.
who do you like out of the expensive guys?
Well, I think France. I want to go for France and try and catch some of those players that maybe start this game. I mean, Mbappe, for example, 12-12. I mean, being a lot cheaper than kind of some of the Netherlands players, and then you've got Giroud as a safety net. I mean, there is a chance that they both miss out, but it's probably fairly.
I think
unlikely.
Thuram would play in that case, and he's the one below them again. Yeah. So I think you'll get someone.
Yeah. So I think I like Mbappe, and then I think I want to have one of the Dutch players as well. I'm tempted just to put Gakpo in. I know he's expensive, 14.7, but he's been so good so far this tournament, and it is the best fixture you can have. So it seems a bit weird to not go with him.
He's the most assured of minutes is the key thing for me. We have no idea what Depay is going to do. It was like 45 minutes exactly last game they said he could have or something like that. And then it was Bergwijn who came off for him. So again, you don't want to have either side of that flip where you get 45 or whatever. So yeah, I think Gakpo's the one. I think it's just that simple. Yep. 2 goals in 2 games as well.
Yep.
So yeah.
Gakpo in. And then I think we should target the Ecuador as well. With this game against Senegal. I like the defence, like you've mentioned. So obviously Estupinian is right up there. The goalkeeper potentially, and Ene Valencia, who I think could easily score another goal. So could complete our trio of strikers. Yeah,
let's do that. I really like that idea. As I say, we're very similar to my draft. I don't think we've ever had this spot before where you've reeled off like my boys literally every time.
I haven't even really looked at the one you sent me, so it's just coincidence.
We're in sync. We've got to win this week, surely.
I think when it's like this, when it's Poland are cheap and the Netherlands and France arguably have the best fixture, I guess that's where you start with. It's going to be some of the kind of fringe players that we go with. I mean, should we triple up with Ecuador? Should we go for the double up on defence and Valencia up top?
I definitely like the double defence, and then Valencia was 10-2, wasn't he? I think so. I think that's very reasonable as well for someone who's the joint top scorer in the tournament. So Senegal were very. You could definitely get at them. Like Qatar got in behind like quite a few times. They were quite unlucky to only score 1. So I think Ecuador have got the potential to unlock Senegal the way they've played in the first 2 games for sure.
England Wales, tricky one. I mean, I do like our defence. In that game. This is, again, it could be a double up in defence that I'm going to push for. Just given what I saw against the USA, it's really tricky to make a case for spending so much money on like Kane and Saka and people. But then against Iran, we did really well. I mean, where are you sitting on England? I mean, it was like the handbrake was off the first game and then just we were back into gear 1, in the second game. I don't know what we're going to get in this one.
Yeah, I've loved the 2 fullbacks all tournament. I have to say they obviously didn't quite deliver in the Iran game, ironically, because I think they got 1 assist between them or something. But then the second game, they just printed their
Shaw
points.
Looked great, didn't he? I mean, Sean bursting into the box again. Doesn't seem to do that for United ever, but for England, he loves it.
Yeah, I like both the fullbacks. I wouldn't pick anyone other than those. I think at 9-9 and 9-8, that's a very reasonable price. When I think we're probably over 50% to keep a clean sheet. So I think. And then you might get the assist off a corner or the free kick miracle goal as well. So
we should go for both.
I like either of them or both of them. Yeah, I don't mind.
Grab Trippier and Shaw. Plenty of safety nets there. Stones, Maguire. Maybe Ben White, because the only one you wouldn't get is Trent if he did come in for Trippier. But I think that's pretty unlikely given what we saw in the second game. What about in midfield and attack? I mean, Sterling's 13.6, Saka's 13.5. Very highly priced, aren't they? Bellingham 12.3. Kane 13.7. I just think it's a bit much.
Yeah, I can't stomach those prices. We're more than I'd much rather take Messi still, for example, than Sterling or Saka for more. Like that's just, I think like Argentina have been terrible, but Messi's still getting his points. So I think that could well be the case in this third game as well. They might play badly, but he'll just get a goal and an assist or something. Like he's just incredible, isn't he?
He is. Yeah. Iran USA. Are we going to back one of these two?
From an attacking point of view, from what we've seen so far, Iran have obviously scored 4 goals and Taremi's got 3 of them, I think. So I think it's really hard to look past him if you're going to pick an Iran player.
Trouble is we can't. We've already got our 3 strikers.
Yeah, so you can't have him because I was going to say that no Iran midfielder appeals to me. No. So I think it's him or nothing. Same for USA, really. I mean, I'd love if Reina was starting, but he doesn't seem to like him in the team, even though he's absolutely class. So I'd be tempted by him, and obviously the other one's Pulisic. But again, 10-8. What do you think about that? Seems a little bit pricey, but also he's definitely their star man. So
yeah, it does seem a bit high, but I mean, we have seen Iran capable of conceding goals, and I have been quite impressed with Pulisic. I think he's been the kind of standout player for the USA. And I guess if we're not backing Taremi, who's the only kind of Iran player, I guess we either go for an Iranian defender or we go for Pulisic. I think in this one, I'm a bit tempted by Pulisic actually. I know he's a bit pricey, but we got money. We got quite a bit.
Yeah, he's an as player for sure. The one that's like a similar price that I could try and persuade you with, I think, is maybe Lozano from Mexico against Saudi Arabia. Like 11-6, he's definitely their talisman as well. Could well get a couple of attacking returns, I think. So I think him or Pulisic, we should take one of those.
We could afford both of them.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And then would we have too much spare though, or would we?
If we take both, we've got 1.4 million in the bank. That would give us double Ecuador defence. Galindez and Stupinian, double England defence, Trippier and Shaw, Zielinski, Gakpo, Lozano, Pulisic, Lewandowski, Mbappe, and Valencia up top.
We're 0-1 off Lozano to Messi, which seems very, very, very advisable. Yeah. if we could, but that might be just one to like take away and like just fiddle around, because I don't really want to downgrade a Stupinian, for example, because he's like the clear best Ecuador defender. You know what I mean? So. We
could go for Maguire over Shaw.
I think that seems okay. I'd much prefer Shaw, but like Messi over Lozano is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's like one of the biggest upgrades you could ever do, I think.
Should we do that then?
Yeah, I think so. I think that rounds it off very nicely, actually. The other one is Di Maria. You could just take Di Maria for Lozano and not downgrade anyone, but I think Messi's a lot better, right?
Yeah, let's grab Messi then. 13.1. Yep. Perfect. Are you sure about that? Hang on. We were...
I thought you said if we had 1-4, Lozano's 11-6,
yeah,
and Messi's.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, good, very good, Josh. Very impressive.
Thank goodness for that. Yeah.
So that gives us Galindez, Stupinian, Trippier and Maguire, Zielinski, Gakpo, Pulisic, and Messi, Lewandowski, Mbappe, and Valencia. Seems pretty good to me.
That's a really nice build, actually, and we went just far enough what I put together as well. So
yeah, good.
We've got similar thinking, but a few different directions.
And who's the captain there?
So I love Gakpo. Yeah. Obviously, Messi and Mbappe are very reasonable as well. Like, I think you can't go wrong with any of those three, really.
I think it's got to be Gakpo. I think it's got to be.
I think he'll be popular, but rightly so. They're playing the worst team probably to be in the World Cup since I've been born, I think. So, yeah.
Let's go for Gakpo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he probably plays like 70 minutes, but he could easily hat-trick in that time, genuine in this kind of game, I think. So, yeah.
Yep. Cool. Nice. Let's take a look at the team that you sent me over. I don't know how similar this is. We'll find out now. That's pretty similar. Galindez and Stupinian are in. Trippier's in. Oh, then it's double Netherlands defence. Yeah, we didn't talk about the Netherlands defence. That's a really good one because Qatar don't look capable of scoring. So you've gone for Dumfries and Van Dijk. I really like that. Not something we mentioned. Zielinski, Gakpo captain, and Eriksson. We haven't really mentioned too much about Denmark so far. Lewandowski, Mbappe, and Taremi. Yeah, I mean, I really like that. I really like the double Netherlands defence. I'd be really surprised if Qatar scored.
They're very expensive, though. The England is a nice discount. I know I've got only Trippier, but if I added Shaw and took Van Dijk out, perhaps, I think I'd save another 3 or 4 million, which is about 2 million, sorry. But it's still like enough to make a big upgrade somewhere else. So, yeah, I think it's an interesting one. I do like Dumfries a lot. But yeah. Taremi's my punt, obviously, as I mentioned earlier. Ericsson, I knew you wouldn't like. He's a bit boring for you. I don't think he's. I don't. I knew you wouldn't. I knew you'd say, Josh, that's a bit boring. But
I never said that. I never said that. Oh no, I'm surprised we haven't talked a bit more about Denmark, because the game against Australia on paper does look a really good game. I guess just because they've been poor so far, I'm not kind of too excited about them. But Ericsson is 11.7. You've got Damsgaard there 11.9 in defence. You've got Mailer, for example, who's been great for us in previous tournaments at 9 million. Christensen there as well, 8.8. Dolberg at 11.8. So they're kind of mid to premium priced. They are quite highly priced, I think. Ericsson, I don't know. He's a bit boring.
So Mailer's price I really, really liked, but then I looked at it, I just don't think they're going to keep a clean sheet. I really think Australia will score in this one as well, because they've scored in every game so far and they set up very attacking. So yeah, one to think about. I'm kind of happy with this draft, though. I might just build a few more and like add to this rather than like changing this one. I think for once I'm quite happy with what I've put together. I think. So.
I think this is a really good draft. I think this is one of the best ones you've ever sent me. Actually, I really like it. Just Ericsson, I think I don't like, but everyone else. I think a lot of these players are going to fly under the radar. The Poland players are, Taremi is, the double Netherlands defences, double Ecuador defences. This could be a real contender. So feel free to copy.
That means we're going to come last for sure. Yeah. Like absolutely.
Feel free to copy everyone and reduce Josh's prize money as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean the Poland guys. Just looking at the screen, the price is ridiculous, isn't it? Like I think I'm just not going to overthink it, and I'm just going to put like one or two of them in every lineup. I think I do, because 6 for Lewandowski is
it's crazy. With
I'd be writing in if I was him. I'd be complaining because that's offensive. I think so. Yeah.
And he's got a goal now. I mean, that must be such a weight off his back, having finally scored a World Cup goal. Everyone's talking about it. Can he be considered one of the world's best strikers when he's ever scored a World Cup goal? All this, he's finally got one. I reckon he's going to get one at least in the next game. Yeah,
I think so too. I think that playing Argentina, I don't think you could play them at a better time. I think they were so good in the first half against Saudi Arabia. They obviously had like 4 goals disallowed or something, but they just imploded in the second half. They were awful in the second half. It was crazy. And then the Mexico game was, as you say, could have put you to sleep. I think like it was a very boring game for a lot of the game.
It was.
Yeah. Yep. They're lucky they've got the best player of all time. Yeah. Luckily,
Ronaldo plays for Portugal, doesn't he? Not anymore. He's blown it. He's ruined it. What a shame. Josh, awesome stuff as always. Finally, prediction for England, Wales. How are we going to get on?
Contrary to what a lot of my friends are saying, I think we're going to win 1-0.
And if you were going to pick a fan team player from England in attack because you believe that we're going to thrash them, which one would you go for?
Saka.
Good.
I love Saka.
Yeah, Saka's got a good safe net. Foden, Mount, obviously Grealish as well. 13.5 billion for him, but I think I'd agree with you. He'd be the one that I'd go for as well. And if he does get a rest, surely Foden comes in and plays, and then you get him. Anyway, awesome stuff. Josh, we'll be back next week, I think ahead of the last 16 matches, which will be fun. Good luck everyone who's taking part in the Monster Tournament. Good luck to everyone who's taking part in the Fan Team World Cup. Let us know how you're getting on in the comments. And Josh and I will see you next time.
Take care, guys. Thank you.